So I'm now back at row 1 of the eyelet cable pattern, and you can see my 2 stitch markers marking off the center pattern of the eyelet cable, and the 2 crisscross lace panels are to either side. So I worked the knit 1, purl 1, and now what I'm going to do is perform the 4 stitch left yarn over cable, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. So essentially what you'll do first is take these next 2 stitches and slip them from needle tip to needle tip, meaning you're slipping purlwise, and hold them at the front of your work. What you'll do next is knit the next 2 stitches. And what I like to do is just kind of move the stitches back on the left-hand needle so that I can kind of just drop that needle. And then I get my stitches nice and close to the tip of my cable needle. So then you're going to perform a yarn over. You can use this finger to hold it in place. And then you have to knit 2 together from the cable needle, which can be a little tricky. So what I like to do is just go into the fronts and literally just kind of loosen those stitches. And then what you'll do is go into the front of the 2 stitches as if to knit, pull the yarn through, and then drop it from the cable needle. So I am working the right side of the eyelet cable pattern, and I am on a right side row that is not row 1. So I will demonstrate that row for you, and if you notice as well, I have my 2 stitch markers to indicate where that cable pattern begins and ends. I'm actually working the center cable, and it is prior to my increases, and so therefore I am working a knit 1, purl 1. So your first stitches are knit 1, you will then purl 1, then you will knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together. So we'll knit these first 2 stitches and then perform a yarn over, and then we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. So we'll go into the front of those stitches, grab the yarn, and knit 2 together and slide it off of our needle. We're now to the last 2 stitches, and we're going to perform a purl 1, knit 1. So we're now working the eyelet cable pattern on the wrong side. And if you notice, I have my 2 stitch markers indicating where that pattern begins and ends within the crisscross lace, and I'm currently working the center eyelet cable. So the first stitch that we'll perform is a purl 1, and then we'll knit 1. And the increases in this pattern occur on the eyelet cables on the both ends of the garment, and so this one will always be a purl 1, knit 1, or knit 1, purl 1 on the right side. We're going to purl the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to perform a yarn over, bring the yarn all the way to the front. So, because for the next stitch that we perform, it's very important the yarn comes all the way front. And then what we're going to do is purl 2 together through the back loop. So what I like to do for this stitch is first take these next 2 stitches and put my needle in through that back loop to loosen it. So if you can see, my yarn is all the way forward and my needle is just loosening the back of those stitches. I then hold it with my finger, and then you're actually coming in from the left to the right of the back loop of those 2 stitches. So you can see there, and you're going to purl and bring it through and slide it off the needle.